You can see this guy grows right from a bulb. It looks just like an onion. Whew. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Josh. I'm the owner and founder of the Bldg. I have one of my male breeder banded geckos here to show you guys. I love this species. We've been working with them for a while. We've had a group breeding for some time. Here is my big, yeah. Now we do have an attitude, and that's okay. Calm it down here. These guys are great beginner geckos. They're imported a lot, but you can find some really healthy captive bred specimens from people like me on Morph Market and here at my store. I'm really excited to do this build with you guys. So here what I have in front of me is a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot Bioactive cages habitat, which I'm really excited to share with you guys. We have an Arcadia 50 watt halogen with a Bioactive solar grow connected to a Arcadia shade dweller. Both are T5 fixtures that are linked together to one plug. And of course, everything's on a timer. As far as the substrate, because this is our brooding group and because there is almost always eggs being laid, we are using a 75% mixture of Terra Firma with a 25% mix of Terra Sahara, which is already put into this habitat. And we have a nice healthy 3.5 to 4 inch layer of substrate good to go. So the first thing that I'm going to do is add my beneficial soil inoculant in here, and that is my BioShot. And you guys know what the BioShot does. It puts different strains of mycorrhizae into your soil, which helps prevent root shock as well as benefit your plants, help reinforce all of the different cycles that your soil needs to stay healthy over a long period of time. And because these guys are primarily a more arid-ish species, being from Central America, it can kind of vary. There can be really dry areas that have a really low humidity, and then there can be other areas that have moderate spikes with more greenery and lush within them. So I am going to be using a little bit of spag moss in here. A good healthy amount that I'm going to be using would be roughly 1/3 of a bag of the 6 quart that I offer. And I'm making sure that it's wet but not dripping. And then I'm just gonna very carefully get all this mixed in here and spread. Here you can see we have a whole bunch of our pre-rinsed cacao leaves right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually gonna take some of these leaves and I'm just gonna start tearing them like so into smaller pieces. And then we have also some of our banana leaves right here. Now the banana leaves are great because they're very thick. They are very fibrous, which is very, very beneficial for your soil long term. So again, all I'm doing is just tearing them right down the middle into smaller, thinner strands. So that way they are more accessible to the substrate and of course the cleanup crew. So I have a very healthy layer of biodegradables and BioShot in here. We have about 2 quarts of Chilean spag moss that's wet but not dripping. We have about 40 cacao leaves shredded up and about 20 individual strands of banana leaves. So now what I'm going to do is thoroughly mix everything up from the very top to the very bottom, ensuring that all these biodegradables and the BioShot are thoroughly mixed together evenly. Now this is really important because like I've said before, the biodegradables not only are the fuel for your car, i.e. the car being your substrate, they are also going to benefit the cleanup crew as they break down, but they will also become microbial hotspots in your soil, which is extremely important because as these leaves and other biodegradables get encrusted in funguses and molds, it is going to help the nitrogen cycle as well as help continue to fertilize your habitat. And you guys know the BioShot does have insect-based fertilizer in it. We don't ever want to use a fertilizer that comes from bats or chickens or anything like that. Don't do it. So if you're making your own mix, if you're using topsoil as a base, make sure you thoroughly read and understand what is in that topsoil and the processes that go with manufacturing it. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I have this awesome piece of wood that I have been saving for some time. This is Malaysian driftwood. And I'm actually gonna put this right up here like so. So one of the most important things with these guys is making sure that there are multiple areas for basking, multiple areas that gives them the ability to hide. So one of the things that I like to do when I am building is create multiple areas of hiding caves. So the first cave that I'm going to make is right over here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move all this substrate right here. I'm gonna put this right like this. Okay, now this has a nice little underground den to it right here. So you guys can see that right here, and then of course they'll be back here. So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start filling in the sides, filling in the front, then I'm gonna start filling in the back. So the most important thing is you wanna make sure that your critters cannot come in contact with the heat bulb. That is one of the most important things when building. So I have a hiding side on the hot area, but I still need a hiding side on the cool area. Now to facilitate that, I have this really, really awesome little half cork bark round right here and a piece of slate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing right over here. So I'm gonna lift this up. I'm gonna put this right down underneath like so. And then what this is gonna do, there we go. Now we have a nice hiding area right there. Now, obviously, I'm gonna have to watch this very closely because I'm going to need to make sure that we can access the eggs, that we can pull the eggs. So as of right now, we have a couple areas here they can hide. We have this area here, we have this back area here, and then we have this under area right here. Overall, I'd say that's pretty decent when it comes to giving them the ability to have options as far as where they would want to go and where they would want to go hide. Now for the back, I got this awesome palm plant right here. I really like that, right like that. And then of course you can see there's a big area that they can go back here and take refuge and hide. I know I keep saying that, it is really important. The thing with the hot spot being right here, directly under, is making sure that I put something there that can actually handle that heat with what my options are. There we go. Nice little basking area right there. They can climb up and put their little fat bodies right on there. And then I have a really nice spaghetti agave. I'm gonna dig my hole right here, all the way down, make sure the roots are all the way planted down, and I'm gonna put that right here. That I'm gonna put right here. Then I got this Sansevieria that I'm gonna put right there in the very middle. Tons of areas for them to hide, tons of areas for them to climb and bask and get close to the UVB. And last but not least, I got this little guy. You can see this guy grows right from a bulb. Pretty cool, and I'm gonna put this right here in the corner. So just like any other critters, we are going to make sure we provide them a water bowl, and then we do also provide them calcium in a bowl as well. Without D3, because we are providing UVB, I'm gonna make sure that both of these are closer to the front so they're easily accessed. For cleanup crew, we have a whole bunch of the oranges and the blues. And I'm just gonna take them and put them directly underneath the water bowl, right like so. Springtails, we're gonna dump them in, right like that. And then we're gonna do a really heavy misting. So these guys tend to lay their eggs directly in our little hide boxes. So we're gonna be playing with this habitat as we get it fully set up and, you know, established, and seeing what's gonna work. So I'm really happy with this. Everything is nice and misted. I still am gonna put a small piece of cork in the water bowl like I normally do. And then let's take a look here. I really just can't stress, I love these guys. They are a great alternative to leopard geckos. They're inexpensive. They don't need a giant habitat. They're easy to keep. These guys are eating small to medium crickets, soft-bodied roaches, waxworms, and just like leopard geckos and fat-tail geckos, they are crepuscular, which means they like to come out as the sun is going down and as it's coming out. And of course, they'll be active at daytime. Just like other eye-lidded geckos, they do have claws on their feet instead of the lamella sticky pads. So when they shed, you have to pay close attention to their digits. Make sure there isn't stuck shed to their toes, because they can lose their toes that way. These guys can drop their tail as a defense mechanism and regrow it, just like other types of eye-lidded geckos. And again, guys, this is a really cool little simple base setup for these guys, and I think they're gonna thrive in here. So like I said before, we have a really healthy biodegradable mixture with our whole sections of cleanup crew and mycorrhizae inoculants in with our terra firma / Sahara. We have a whole range of different types of plants that can handle very dry with very light spikes of humidity. We're going to be paying very close attention to the spaghetti agave over here. And of course, letting this tank cycle for about a month or so to make sure that all of our parameters are correct, making sure our cleanup crew gets established, and making sure that these guys are actually ready to move into this habitat, which I'm really excited to share that with you. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate everybody's support. Visit my website, thebiodude.com. Dude abides.